Liberty is not something the government gives you. It's something you're born with. The Constitution doesn't create your rights, it recognizes them. But lately, the people in power are doing everything they can to erase that truth, piece by piece, law by law. And nothing proves it more clearly than what just happened in Missouri, a case that should terrify every single American who values freedom. Let's start at the beginning. In Missouri, a man was sentenced to prison, not because he committed a violent crime, not because he hurt anyone. His so-called crime was possessing ammunition. That's it, ammunition. Now, to most Americans, that sounds unthinkable. After all, what is ammunition without a firearm? And what is a firearm without ammunition? To criminalize possession of either is to criminalize the very core of the Second Amendment. But that's exactly what happened. And it's not just about one man. It's about a precedent. Because once the government can put you in a cage for owning ammo, they can put you in a cage for owning a magazine or a cleaning kit or anything else they decide is dangerous. This is how freedom dies. Not with one giant leap, but with small, quiet steps that most people ignore until it's too late. The Founding Fathers warned us about this. Thomas Jefferson said, "When the people fear the government, there is tyranny. When the government fears the people, there is liberty." Well, right now, the government doesn't fear the people at all. They fear losing control, and they're tightening the leash. Think about it. In the last decade, we've seen states ban magazines, ban rifles, ban features like pistol braces or bump stocks. Each time, the politicians swore, this is just common sense. It's just a small change. But when you add it all up, the walls are closing in. And the Missouri case is proof of where this ends. If the government can turn ammunition into contraband, they can disarm you without ever touching the Second Amendment. After all, what good is a rifle in your safe if the rounds that feed it make you a felon? Here's the bigger picture. This is not about safety. This is not about crime. Criminals don't follow gun laws. They never have, and they never will. This is about control. Because an armed population can say no. A disarmed population has no choice but to obey. Now, you might be thinking, well, that's Missouri. That doesn't affect me. Wrong. If they can do it there, they can do it anywhere. The federal government watches these cases closely. If the people don't fight back, they take it as a green light to push even further. And here's the truth nobody wants to admit. This didn't happen overnight. It happened because too many of us stayed silent when the first bans passed. Too many of us thought, well, it doesn't affect me. I don't own that type of gun. But freedom doesn't work like that. Once they can strip one person of his rights, it's only a matter of time before they strip you of yours. The Missouri man is a warning. He's the canary in the coal mine. His life was destroyed to send a message that the government, not you, decides what you're allowed to own. And if that doesn't wake us up, nothing will. So we've seen what happened in Missouri. We've seen how far the government will go to crush anyone who dares to stand against their control. The question is, what do we do about it? Because let's be honest, complaining isn't enough. Posting memes on the internet isn't enough. If we're serious about defending freedom, then action has to follow words. The first step is awareness. Most Americans have no idea that a man in Missouri is rotting in prison for simply possessing ammunition. Why? Because the mainstream media won't cover it. They don't want you to know. They'd rather distract you with circus stories, celebrity drama, or whatever political soap opera gets clicks. But the truth is this. Every single time a case like this happens and gets buried, our silence gives the green light for the next crackdown. We can't afford to ignore it. We have to shine a spotlight on it, share it, talk about it, and make sure people know exactly what's happening. Now, awareness is only the beginning. The next step is applying pressure. The Constitution is supposed to protect us, but a piece of paper can't enforce itself. It only matters when the people stand behind it. That means calling your representatives, writing your state legislators, showing up at hearings, supporting groups that actually fight for gun rights in court, not just the ones that send you fundraising emails. You don't have to agree with every politician on every issue, but you should be very clear about this. If they don't stand up for the Second Amendment, they don't deserve your vote. Period. End of story. Politicians will only fight for what they fear losing, and right now, too many of them fear losing the approval of Washington bureaucrats more than they fear losing the support of their voters. That has to change. And here's where it gets personal. Beyond politics, beyond speeches, we have to build strong communities. Because when the government starts criminalizing basic freedoms, the people you can truly rely on are your neighbors, your friends, and your family. Get trained together. Learn your state laws inside and out. Be ready for the day when owning ammunition, or a magazine, or even a hunting rifle could make you a criminal. Preparedness isn't paranoia. It's responsibility. If the last few years taught us anything, it's that the system can turn on a dime. And when it does, you won't have time to prepare after the fact. But there's another battle we don't talk about enough. The culture war. The left has been waging it for decades. They portray guns as evil. They paint gun owners as dangerous, unstable, or uneducated. That's not by accident. That's propaganda. If they can shame us into silence, they don't even need to pass a law. They'll have won by convincing the next generation that freedom itself is something to be afraid of. That's why it matters to take your kids shooting. Teach them safety. Teach them respect. Normalize the culture of responsible gun ownership. If we lose the culture, we lose everything. And finally, we need to be honest with ourselves. At some point, there has to be a line in the sand. Every tyrannical government in history counted on the people endlessly complying, endlessly compromising, until there was nothing left to give. The founders understood this. That's why the Second Amendment exists, not for hunting, not for sport, but as a last safeguard against tyranny. Now, I'm not here to call for violence. What I am saying is this. If the government can lock a man in a cage for ammunition possession, and we do nothing, then the line is already gone. We're not citizens anymore. We're subjects. And that's not acceptable. So here's my challenge to you. Don't shrug this off. Don't assume somebody else will handle it. Be the person who spreads the word. Be the person who makes the call. Be the person who refuses to let your rights will just be stripped away in silence. Because the Missouri case isn't just one man's story. It's a warning, a glimpse of what happens when freedom is surrendered, inch by inch. And if we don't take it seriously now, then tomorrow it could be your neighbor. Next week it could be your family. One day it could be you. We can't let that happen. The fight for liberty isn't tomorrow. It's not next year. It's right now. Stay alert. Stay prepared. Stay free. Because freedom doesn't defend itself. It depends on us.